Great. Good evening, everyone. This is the Coaches and Coxswains meeting for Women's Sprints, which is brought to you by the Intercollegiate Rowing Association and held on Lake Quinsigamond in Worcester, Massachusetts on May 3rd, 2026. First order of business tonight, we are actually going to start and get attendance out of the way first. So if you could please text your school code to 22333 at this time to log your attendance. For example, if you are with Boston College, you will text the number 47096 to 22333 with your school code. Schools are listed alphabetically. If for some reason you do not see your school name on this list, please email me at thadgamula@qra.org so I can log your attendance manually. While we wait for the attendance to come in, there's a couple things I'd like to point out. First off, you may have noticed that your camera, microphone, and chat have been turned off for all except for the presenters. We ask if you do have a question during the presentation, please enter it in the Q&A function, which can be found at the bottom right of your screen. It looks like 9 dots. If you click that, it will open the meeting tool, and you can find the Q&A tab there. We won't be able to answer raised hands. We won't be able to do any of that. But if you have any questions whatsoever, please use the question and answer function. And while we wait for the attendance to roll in, I would like to introduce the Regatta Director and the Intercollegiate Rowing Association Commissioner, Laura Kunkemuller. Laura?
Hello, thank you, Thad. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining this meeting. We've got a lot of important information for you about the regatta. There are a few things that I want to go through from an administrative standpoint, and coaches, the information that I have is most relevant to you. So first, we are in a much better position than we have been in the past with waivers. As of early afternoon, we only had 2 schools, Rutgers and Radcliffe, and I know that you were notified, so I'm hopeful that that is all done as well. If you are adding a new athlete, you need to make sure that they have their waiver done, and if you didn't have all of your waivers in and haven't done them this afternoon, please make sure you get them in. We cannot allow anybody on the water who doesn't have a signed waiver. Regatta Central will be open from 9 to 12 on Friday. That is the time, coaches, for you to put in any changes. That's boat changes or lineup changes. That will close at 12 p.m. And we will use that information to create the final heat sheet. After that point, any scratches will not result in lane changes or redraws of the heats. So it's really important that you put the accurate information in between 9 and 12 on Friday. Of course, if you have a substitution later in the weekend, you come find us at the Regatta office, and we can walk you through how to make that substitution. And I think I said this, but I just want to repeat it. Because we are doing that final heat sheet on Friday afternoon, it is critical that coaches, you look at the final heat sheet on Saturday and make sure that there have been no changes from what you saw earlier in the week. Okay. You all know that we will not have practice on Saturday evening. We will alert you as soon as we can let trailers in. The current plan is no later than 7 p.m. So we are know that we are actively working at Regatta Point to wrap up the NERC and allow you in at 7. The park closes at 8 p.m. The next day, on Sunday, the park will open at 6. The first race is at 8:30. And crews may begin to launch at 7:30 for their race. That, I think that's all I had.
All righty. Thank you. Just to briefly go over everything once again, Just to introduce myself, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Thad Gamula, and I am with the Quinsigamond Rowing Association. I will be guiding you through this presentation. I am also joined tonight by, you already heard from her, Laura Kunkemuller, the Intercollegiate Rowing Association Commissioner and Regatta Director, and Ruth McNamara, the Chief Referee, who will be discussing the refereeing points later on in the presentation. Also, Kaylee Durham with the IRA, and several of the other officials for the regatta. Laura has just gone over all of these points, but just to briefly, we will try to clear everything. It opens no later than 7 p.m. and then the Sunday times it opens at 6. Launching is at 7:30. Okay. Launching and Control Commission. Coxswains, you will be launching from 2 different locations at Regatta Point. We have the North Docks and the South Docks. The North Docks are 2 floating docks at the northern end of the park. The South Docks are tucked on the opposite side of Regatta headquarters and is a single dock. Please allow access to both docks. Do not place oars or boats in the way. They're relatively large paths. Let's just keep them open so people can move freely. We have a whole staff of volunteers who ensure that it is kept open. So just please be mindful of where you place everything. The referees at Control Commission will not be doing thorough safety checks. By launching your boat, you certify that the boat is compliant with all safety regulations. Just like last year, your bow number will be provided for you. Please pick it up at Control Commission as you are launching, and please remember to return it when you land. Once again, we always ask you to be quick on the docks and listen to the dock masters. Okay, race day traffic. So for those of you who may have never been here, this could be your first time here. For those of you that need a refresher, we discuss everything in terms of Worcester Shore and Shrewsbury Shore. So Regatta Point, where everybody is the Worcester Shore. Across the lake where the Donahue Rowing Center is the Shrewsbury Shore. So when launching from Regatta Point on race day, you will proceed north outside the buoy lane along the Worcester Shore. In the event of, I am not sure if we have any 7-boat races.
Yes, we do.
There are? Okay. So
yeah,
then it's absolutely very clear to stay away from the buoy line and not to have anything hanging over it in the event of a 7-boat race coming down. You will need to keep clear of the buoy line. That being said, we strongly discourage hugging the shoreline. There are parts that do get shallow, but you have plenty of space once you launch from Regatta Point. There's plenty of open water to tie in, to do what you need to do between Regatta Point and then call it the 1250 in mark, just between the 1500 and the 1000 meter mark. A little before the 1000 meter mark, there is a pinch point to the course. Please, we ask you to go single file in that area. Just beyond this, you will see a small brick building that is directly across from the Donahue Rowing Center. This is the pump house, and it is very shallow. There is a red buoy marking it. Do not go between the buoy and shore. You will absolutely lose a skeg. You can see it on this map. It's right between the 500 meter mark and the start. It's a little yellow polygon. Once again, it's directly across from the Donahue Rowing Center. There is plenty of space between there and the course. So please do not hug the shoreline right there. If you are launching from DRC, which is just one group, I believe, you have 2 options. You go directly across the lake and travel north, or you proceed south along the Shrewsbury Shore outside the buoy line. You may not go further than the 1500 meter mark. You turn and then make your way across when no boats are coming, and you join the rest of the traffic headed north. After the pump house, all crews will enter the warm-up cove through the small span of the 290 bridge. And this is that zoomed in area of the starting area in the 290 bridge. The small span is between the piers closest to the Worcester Shore. There is absolutely no pressure going through the bridge. Once you enter the start cove, you will see 3 large white buoys in the center. The traffic pattern is clockwise around these buoys. Please keep your head on a swivel up here. It can get very congested. Note the red shaded area in the back. Do not enter the back of the cove. You will get out of earshot of the officials. It gets shallow. There's all sorts of fishermen back there. Please, it is in your absolute best interest to not go into the far back of that cove. The marshals will gather you before your race, and they'll have you line up in numeric order. When your race is called and you are directed to do so, you will enter the course between the Shrewsbury shore and the eastmost pier of the bridge. At no point do you go between the stake boats or in front of the starter's tower. So once again, I repeat, at no point do we go between the stake boats or in front of the starter's tower. After you get past that pier, you will turn your boat to starboard, row to your lane, and then turn and back down to the stake boat. Keep an eye on the wind. It can get funneled down there. So just please make smart decisions when how far away you're backing from your stake boat. It just to make it easier for everyone in your crew. Here is another view of the 290 bridge from the starting cove. This picture is taken as if you were standing directly in the middle of the three white buoys, looking straight down the course. Once again, off to your right is the Worcester shore. You can see it's labeled. It's not labeled, but way off to the left is the Shrewsbury shore. That first span next to the Worcester shore, that smaller span between the piers, is where you are entering. So you'll be coming towards the person standing in the middle of the buoys here. The large span is the span you will be starting under, where the stake boats are. And then way off to the left is the entrance to the start. So between that pier and the shore is where you're going to be lining up and going down to then turn 90 degrees and go across and into your lanes and back it down. Once your race and you finish across the line, you wait for your race to be made official. You will then spin to starboard and proceed quickly out of the finish area. You will land at the same docks you launched on, so either the North Beach docks or the South Beach or the South docks. Listen to the dock masters for instruction. They will be out there. They will be giving you instructions on what side to go on. Just please listen to them. If you do happen to medal in your grand final event, you will be directed to the awards dock. And you can see that that's a purple line on this map. You will be called in reverse order, bronze, silver, gold. Please be aware of the shallows around the finish tower. You can see a little yellow shaded polygon right off to the left-hand side of the purple. That's the finish tower, and the last thing you want to do is run aground before you go accept your medal. Once again, at no point are you to row beyond the Route 9 bridge. The Route 9 bridge is just past the finish line. It is a very large blue arch bridge. Do not row past that. And at this point, I would like to introduce the chief referee, Ruth McNamara, to go over the refereeing points of note. Ruth?
Thank you, Thad. I'm going to be joined this weekend with a very experienced group of referees from across the country, and we're excited to be here. And our main goal is for the athlete experience, which is your experience and your teammates. And if we accomplish that, then we have covered safety and fairness. I want to take an opportunity to emphasize a few important points. I'm sure you know the rules of rowing and you know what's in the regatta packet, but there are a few items I just want to touch base on so that you know what you can expect from us as your officials and what we expect from you all as the athletes. So starting with Coxswains weigh-ins, the time has been changed, so it's 3 to 7 p.m. on Saturday at Regatta Point in the bay next to headquarters. There's a handful of teams that can't make it on Saturday afternoon, and you all have made arrangements with me for Sunday morning. And I will have that staffed from 6 to 7 a.m. Again, same place in the bay. We ask you to arrive for weigh-ins already wearing your racing uniform, whether it's your uni suit and socks or your team-issued racing shirt, short and socks. No extra gear will be allowed on. You'll not be allowed to change in the weigh-in area there. So please come. So all you're doing is taking your sweats off and stepping on and off the scale. We ask you not to bring anything to eat or drink while waiting in line in the weigh-in for weigh-ins. Coxswain minimum weight is 121. If you need to carry extra weight, you are responsible to bring that with you. We are not going to have sand and sandbags, plastic bags for you. So we ask you to bring that. Those of you that were there last year, you know how difficult it was to weigh everyone in. We ran out of sand. It got very time consuming, everybody stepping on and off the scale. So we ask you to have some idea of what the weight is you need to carry, if you need to carry your weight. And it will expedite the whole process, and you won't be standing in line as long. Your extra weight may be checked at the start, more likely at the finish, and it even could be checked at Control Commission. And then the one exception here, for lightweight coxswains, you will weigh in with your lightweight teammates, your boat, and your minimum weight has been decided to be 110, and you too needs to bring your extra weight if you need to carry any. That already described going up to the core, up to the start and everything, and where the pinch points. I want to remind you that if you have any issue in your boat on the way to the start, whether it's breakage or you need some tool to fix something, to tighten something down, you need to flag the closest referee. We are not going to have you go back to your launch site. At most, we would have you go over to Donahue, but please get the attention of a referee, and they will assist you to try to get that rectified as soon as possible. That told you the course is numbered from right to left. So lane 0 is on the right side when you're sitting at the start and looking down the course. Crews will be called into the start when the previous race clears 100 meters. Stage yourself in numerical order, but if a crew is not there, we're not going to ask you to wait for them. You all are to be locked on and race ready at the 2-minute call. We will be using an announce start, which is that we announce each crew's name, we say attention, and raise the starter's flag, all in a cadence, so you can count on it. If there's 6 boats in the race, that's 8 beats. It's 6 crews' name, the word attention, and the flag goes up. Variable pause, they drop the flag and simultaneously say go. If we have wind, we ask you to please keep your points by touching it or sculling it around. Once we start announcing the crew's names, you can keep your point up until when we say attention, and then you should set ready. If it's windy enough or conditions are bad enough, we'll go to a quick start. And those commands are, we'll tell you ahead of time because you're expecting it to be announced start. So at the 2-minute call, you'll be told that it'll be a quick start. All crews, quick start, attention, the flag goes up, variable pause, and then again, go with the simultaneously dropping the flag. Crews suffering any breakage in the first 100 meters should stop and get the attention of the starter or the following referee. That means raise your hand and tell us that you had a reason to stop. The starter will stop the race. If there is a false start signaled by the judge at start, or if we have a collision or interference in the first 100 meters, if a crew stops in the first 100 meters and signals to the referee, if one of your athletes is ejected out of the boat, if you suffer an overhead crab, or if you have breakage because of a crab. So if the race is stopped, if you hear the siren and you see the red flags, please stop and then wait for the starter or the following referee's instructions. For the body of the race, we follow your races with 1 referee, and that referee will enter the course at approximately 100 meters as you are coming out from under the bridge. They'll be coming on your starboard side. If you need any instructions in that first 100 meters, it will be coming from the starter. There'll be a media launch on the water, most likely in the morning. They'll either follow the referee in from your starboard side. Otherwise, they enter right about Donahue at 200 meters, 250 maybe from your port side. The following referees will do their best not to wake a trailing crew, but you all know there are times when it's necessary for us to move up with the leading crews to protect a crew who might be in contention of advancing, placing, or winning. So we do apologize ahead of time if that happens to your crew. As you get to the finish, once you cross the line, if for any reason you feel your opportunity to advance, to place, or to win was compromised, get the attention of the following referee at the finish. Let them know, explain what your objection is, what happened, where it happened, what remedy you would be seeking for fairness. The referee should render a decision there, and if you do not agree with the referee's decision, or you want to just talk to your coach more about this, let them know that you want to take the issue to shore, and you have that opportunity to come to shore, and hopefully Laura or myself or an ombudsman will meet you on the recovery dock. And if the event you can't find us at the recovery dock, let the referee at Control Commission know, and they will radio one of us to come to you. Other than that, I'd say have a great weekend of racing. We all look forward to working with you all.
Great. Thank you, Ruth. Okay, in the event of an emergency, we have many different safety officials on the water between the rowing officials, police, fire, EMS, environmental police, fire department, divers. We have it all out there. If at any point you or anyone in the boat is having a medical issue, it is very important that you stop and get the attention of the closest safety launch. Once again, if you or anyone in your boat is having a medical issue, it is important that you stop and get the attention of the closest safety boat launch. If there is a weather emergency, mainly we're talking this time of year, thunderstorms, who knows, it's New England. The same mentioned safety officials will make an announcement. If there is an event where we have to evacuate the lake, any crews south of the 1,000-meter mark will return to Regatta Point, and anyone north of the 1,000-meter mark will row and land at the Donahue Rowing Center. So once again, if there's an evacuation, anybody south of the 1,000-meter mark will go to Regatta Point. Anyone north of the 1,000-meter mark, which includes the starting area, will row to Donahue Rowing Center. Please, no public urination. We have plenty of porta potties provided throughout Regatta Point. If you are caught urinating in the lake, your program is subject to a 1-year ban, and you are subject to criminal charges. Anything brought on the water by a crew must come off with the crew. Absolutely no handing anything to the stake boat holders. And if needed, medical will be at Regatta Headquarters, Donahue Rowing Center, or on the water. Anywhere that we have crews launching or anywhere that crews are, we will have medical at if needed. Okay, at this time, that pretty much concludes our presentation. Once again, we can't chat. There's no chat function. There's no turning your videos on and your microphones on. So please, if you have any questions, we will attempt to answer them by the question and answer feature. Once again, if you look at the bottom right hand of your screen, there's 9 dots. You click on that, you can find the Q&A tool. By all means, ask away, ask the questions. We will go through them as we get them. A recording of this meeting will be available at the Quinsigamond Rowing Association YouTube channel. The link will also be given to post on Regatta Central, and it'll be distributed as needed. There is also an updated course tour for those of you who haven't been on our lake before, or if you just want a refresher. Once again, that's also on the Quinsigamond Rowing Association YouTube channel. Okay, first question. How far in advance would you suggest crews launch from the North Dock?
45 minutes.
Perfect.
That should be plenty of time. I will add this, that just thinking about it, crews going up to the start, we will be having 7 boat races. When we have less than 7 boats, I'm going to ask my referees to return to the start in lane 0, so they're out of your way, but keep an eye out because referee launches will be in that travel lane when there's 7 boat races, and they will potentially stop you and ask you to wait for the race to go by at 2 pinch points there on the way up to the start. So don't be surprised if you do get stopped until a race goes by just because they're using lane 0.
Okay, we'll go to the bottom. Will the scale be available for checking testing before 3 p.m. on Saturday for lightweight crews? I'm getting a head shake no, so no. Next question, it says, to Kaylee, can the athlete info form be reopened if we miss the deadline Monday?
No, the deadline was Monday.
Perfect, thank you. And I can actually chime in and reiterate what Ruth has said and go over. If anybody doesn't want to ask a question on this forum, by all means, absolutely stop by Regatta headquarters. You will find Ruth, you will find Laura, you will find the referees. Please, if you're hesitant about something that we said tonight, by all means, go ask them. They are all absolutely very approachable and be willing to answer questions that you may have.
Yeah, this is your championship. We are there for you.
Okay, well, I see nothing else popping up. So with that, I would like to thank everybody for attending, and we will see you all this weekend. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Thad.